For nearly 3 centuries, a single family held unquestioned authority over Westeros. House Targaryen preserved a unified bloodline, amassed immense wealth, and maintained a grip on the Iron Throne that no rival lord could challenge. Their authority was backed by a permanent aerial advantage. With dozens of living dragons at their command, any attempted rebellion or foreign invasion faced nearly certain destruction before it could even begin. Yet on the eve of Robert's rebellion, that secure dynasty was a shadow of its former self. The dragons were gone, the family was divided, and the most powerful throne was about to be seized by a rebel lord. How does a power that faced no credible external threats for centuries manage to collapse so completely? To find the answer, we have to look at the 2 distinct eras of Targaryen Civil War. One fought at the height of their dragon power, and one fought generations later with conventional steel. When we compare these paths side by side, we can see how the family behaved with and without their greatest weapons. It allows us to see if dragons were the true cause of destruction, or if the problem was actually the Targaryens themselves. The first case study is the Dance of the Dragons. This conflict grew out of a simple, unresolved question of who should rule. King Viserys I broke centuries of tradition by naming his daughter, Rhaenyra, as his official heir. The Lords of the Realms swore oaths of loyalty to her, seemingly settling the matter. But the situation shifted when Viserys remarried and fathered a son, Aegon II. Suddenly, the king's decree was in direct conflict with the traditional custom of male inheritance. As the tree splits, the dynasty divides into 2 hostile camps, the Blacks supporting Rhaenyra and the Greens backing Aegon. This wasn't just political, it was a military catastrophe. Because both sides have dragons, their greatest strength became the tool of their own destruction. The war was a series of mutual assassinations and aerial duels. Legendary dragons like Vhagar and Caraxes perished, often taking their riders with them. By the time the fighting stopped, the sky was empty. The primary claimants didn't survive to see the end. Rhaenyra was captured and executed, while Aegon II was poisoned by his own advisors shortly after his victory. The war effectively ended the Age of Dragons. But while the weapons were gone, the underlying issue, a family that could not agree on its own succession, remained exactly where it was. It would be easy to think that losing their most destructive weapons would force the remaining Targaryens to finally cooperate. However, the Blackfyre rebellions show a different pattern. This series of wars was fought entirely without dragons, yet the results were remarkably similar. This time, the spark was King Aegon IV. On his deathbed, he legitimized all of his illegitimate children, creating a massive pool of new rivals for the throne. This web of competing claims pitted the legitimate King Daeron against his charismatic half-brother, Daemon Blackfyre. Once again, the family was at war with itself. Instead of burning from the sky, the realm bled on the ground. At the Battle of the Red Grass Field, tens of thousands of knights and soldiers clashed in the mud, leaving Daemon Blackfyre and his sons dead on the field. Even with their leader gone, the division didn't heal. The surviving Blackfyres fled across the sea and launched multiple invasions over the next several decades, continuously stripping the Targaryens of their men, money, and stability. Looking at both wars together, we see that the dragons were just a way to speed up the process. The real source of the ruin was the Targaryen succession model, which produced a never-ending supply of rival kings. By the time Robert Baratheon raised his banners, House Targaryen had spent a century and a half slowly bleeding itself dry through these internal cycles. The dynasty was a hollow shell. With the dragons long dead and the family members unable to trust one another, the foundation of their rule had simply rotted away. This is the natural result of a power that has no external checks. When a family is too strong to be defeated by outsiders, all of their political ambition and aggression is forced inward. They become their own only relevant enemy. House Targaryen was designed to be unconquerable. No king or army could break them from the outside. Instead, they were consumed by the internal rivalries and competing claims that eventually melted the dynasty from within.